would you say is the mission of the Special Education Department of Judson ISD?
Well, we do have a formal mission statement, but just to summarize what that is, the mission of our department is to identify children in need of specialized instruction, and once we've identified those children, to provide the supports and services that they need so that they will be successful in school and in life after graduation.
So how has the Special Education Department changed?
Gosh. We did a reorganization of positions. When I initially started, we had a combination of lead teachers and supervisors and coordinators. Last year, we decided to do away with the lead teacher position, and so now we have coordinators and a supervisor specialist. The supervisor specialists are assigned to campuses. They provide the day-to-day supports, answer questions to principals, provide training that the campus may need, and they oversee the instruction that is done at the campus level. Our coordinators are responsible for program management. They will develop programs and services and create handbooks and policies and procedures. They will manage our specialized units, for example, our behavior units, our life skill units, PPCD, and did I say life skills also? And so they are the ones that manage those particular programs, and they in turn train our supervisors with regard to program components and non-negotiables.
What are the major roles and responsibilities of the Special Education Department?
Well, we have many roles and responsibilities, and for me, the major roles include compliance. We have federal and state responsibilities and accountability systems. We also have training that we have to do, and we're responsible for the services and supports that we provide to children with disabilities in the district. And so we have timelines that we have to meet. We have federal guidelines that we have to meet, and there are accountability systems that we have to address each year. And of course, a state assessment is a big responsibility for us. We have to train our teachers and look at our programs to ensure that students are receiving the best instruction and strategies that they can in order to do well, and that our teachers are trained on best practices with regard to special ed services and supports.
Tell us about a typical day in your life as the Director of Special Education.
Okay. A typical day, I would say that there are three major or key components to my day. One of the major things that we do, in my typical day, we serve campuses. We also serve district staff, and we also meet department needs. So with regard to serving campuses, I might receive calls from principals where they may have a parent concern or a student concern, and so we will work through that, and we will look at what provisions we need to provide to them, or maybe some new training, or just some guidance. With regard to district and department staff, we have to work together with other departments. For example, the testing department, the RTI department, the dyslexia department. And so often we will receive calls and requests and questions from different department members. And then we also share and build partnerships, for example, with the C&I department. We have a lot of trainings that we work in collaboration with that particular department so that we can improve instruction for our students with disabilities that are in inclusive settings. And then we have department needs, too, that have to be addressed. We do a lot of training. For example, today we had an audio conference on a legal topic, and so our supervisors and coordinators will come in and we listen to the audio conference, and from that information that we get, it may change the way we do things, or we may add to some training pieces that we have already developed. And so the department needs are many as well. We have to look at how our campuses are doing, and if our students are, for example, not doing well in terms of management, behavioral management, we have to look at what kind of training we provide and make either create new trainings or change the trainings that we do have. We have to improve instruction across the district as well, and so that's where the partnerships with other department staff and groups are so key to us. We cannot work in isolation. Sometimes we feel we work in isolation, but we really cannot. With so many of our children in inclusive settings, we have to work together in order to improve instruction for our groups, for our students, as well as the general ed population. So basically, I would say, our typical day deals with these three major key areas.
How does special education play into discipline and behavior management for students?
Our goal is to have students with disabilities, students with disabilities in inclusive settings as much as possible and as appropriate as possible. And so classroom management plays a tremendous part in whether or not our children are successful. They have to understand what kind of skills, behavior skills that they need in order to do their work and to interact successfully with their teacher and their peers. And so as resource teachers or inclusion teachers, and as a department, we're constantly looking at student behaviors in our inclusive settings. And an issue for us in this district is ISS and OSS placements. And what that does is it removes our children from their academic setting. And when it does that, they are not getting all of the instruction that they need in order to learn new skills or to be successful in that setting. And so we monitor ISS and OSS placements on a weekly basis. And we are working with administrators and staff so that we are constantly thinking about why are we removing children from that learning environment? And what can we do to intervene, and what kinds of different things or different options can we have besides removing them from the classroom? And so that is a key part or a key concern for us.
What role does STAR play for the special education student?
Well, STAR has changed over the past few years. We used to have an assessment called STAR M and STAR A, and those have gone away. We now have STAR and STAR Alt, and we do have a STAR version that can be taken online, and that means that children, not just students with disabilities, but other kinds of identified student groups like students with dyslexia, ESL students, they can have they can take a STAR test online, which has accommodations, and certain accommodations are set for students with disabilities versus other student groups. So those are the three major tests that we have right now, and I feel that the STAR test is just one indicator of student success, and it is not the only thing. It's a very important thing for us as a district And as a department, we always want all of our children to pass the STAR. But some of our children will make, we hope to see them make progress. They may not always pass the exam, but we, from grade level to grade level, want to see progress as they take each exam.
Okay. What are the major do's and don'ts of the admission review and dismissal meetings?
A don't would be to come unprepared to an ARD meeting. Campuses should prepare a draft of the ARD meeting and prepare some options for the parent and with regard to services and supports. Another don't is to predetermine one option for the student. In other words, we should be open and I guess open for discussion, so that there are various options, not just one option. Sometimes parents feel that a campus will already have a placement in mind and won't deviate from that one placement, and they feel like campus staff will not consider their feelings or their concerns, and so we should always have a variety of options or be open for discussion and consideration. And we should not forget that the parent is an important stakeholder and key to the meeting. We should work to reach consensus at ARD meetings and always focus on the fact that we need to provide services that the child needs in order to be given an appropriate education. So I feel that those are the major do's and don'ts, things that we should do.
Do you have tips on how to run more efficient meetings?
I suggest that every ARD room have an ARD agenda so that it delineates all of the key topics that are covered in an ARD meeting, so that you can check them off, and as you go and complete the ARD process, it'll just allow for a good flow of discussion and ensure that you cover all of the topics that need to be discussed. You should really ensure that all members are present. All key members need to be invited and need to be told of the time and the location so they can all be there prepared and ready to go. You should have an IEP draft in front of you, a few copies, so that it will help the parent follow your agenda and then also follow the discussion pieces. Sometimes parents want to talk about topics up front and key concerns, and so the draft and the agenda will allow you to be able to tell the parent, we're going to, if, for example, if they want to talk about state assessment, we can say that, we do have that section in the ARD and we will talk about that later on. So you can kind of guide the discussion, and it flows very easily. And then, of course, you have to remain professional. Sometimes parents may get upset or they might be emotional, and so you have to be able to address their concerns in a very professional manner, and so that you can bring the ARD committee back to its focus, which is to develop an IEP plan for the child. And then you can edit some of those things.